Give a round of applause for Maryam.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. Beware of the yellow. Sure, it may sound odd. So many things in this world are yellow. Should I stay away from them? Not really. Here's an ayah to get you started on the right track.
اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا لعب ولهو وزينة وتفاخر بينكم وتكاثر في الأموال والأولاد كمثل غيث أعجب الكفار نباته ثم يهيج فتراه مصفرا ثم يكون حطاما وفي الآخرة عذاب شديد ومغفرة من الله ورضوان وما الحياة الدنيا إلا متاع الغرور.
Okay, so I'm starting with the middle part of the ayah and I'm going to explain the first and last parts later. Do you remember when you got your first phone, if you have one? How did it feel? Amazing, right? You thought you would love it that much forever, but now how do you feel about it? You're probably not as excited as you were in the beginning. Well, this is the definition of yellow that I'm talking about. Yellow here is the phase of life when something doesn't feel as important as it did in the beginning, when you're not excited about it and you lose interest in it. Well, this is basically everything in this dunya. In this ayah, Allah explains this with an example. He says, كَمَثَلِ غَيْثٍ. It is like perfect rain. Now all the Arabs in this room probably know that the word for rain is matar. Matar is rain. Ghayth is perfect rain. It's not so much that the land would flood, and it's not so little that the plants won't grow. It is perfect in quantity and time. So Allah says that the example of things we run after in life is like ghayth. أعجب الكفار نباته. So let's say someone took advantage of this rain and used it and planted seeds in the ground. Now this person is so happy because of the produce of that rain. So after stressful weeks and weeks of planting seeds in the ground, they wake up one day and it's perfect rain. Are they happy? Yeah, they're happy, right? And they start seeing in a field of brown, tiny dots of green, little plants growing. Then Allah says, ثُمَّ يَهِيجُ. Then that plant matures. Now, if a plant matures, what is the next logical step to do? I'm asking you guys, by the way.
Well, you have to water it so it can mature even more. Yeah. Oh, after it's mature, you have to kill it.
Okay, you pick the plant. You cut it.
You harvest. I'm sorry. I didn't see you. Sorry. You harvest the plant, you cut it. That's what you're supposed to do. But the ayah is very strange. Allah doesn't say that the farmer harvests the plant. He says, فَتَرَاهُ مُصْفَرًا. He will actually watch it turn yellow. Now this is important to understand. Any farmer who is not insane will cut their farm when it's still green and yummy and fresh. When it's yellow, it's already dead. You can't really do anything with it. And then he says, ثُمَّ يَكُونُ حُطَامًا. Not only does the farmer watch it turn yellow, but it also becomes hutam. Hutam is literally things that are on the ground that you walk by and you step on. And it makes that crunchy sound like dried up leaves. So this person leaves his farm and not only does it become yellow, it also becomes hutam. This is the example for me and you to understand our life. So, now that we know what yellow is in the example, let's talk about what it is in our lives. I already mentioned the example of getting a new phone when in the beginning and in the end. Can anyone else give me an example of something that they think turned yellow in their lives?
A life, me. You would buy a new book would come out. You would buy it, read it 3 times, and be like, oh, I'm tired. And once a new one comes out, rinse and repeat. It just happens over and over again. Same with any electronics, anything.
It's like other games, you could get any little kids can get one game, and then in the end they just it's useless. They just play with it for 2 minutes, and then they just leave it, and they never play with it again, and they go to tell their parents, we want more games and more games.
Yeah, so I'm thinking something in the beginning could be something went viral, and then nobody used it again, right? So, do you guys remember fidget spinners? Yeah. Those were so popular at some point. Everybody was carrying one. They came in all different colors, sizes, and shapes. Now they're not really that popular, are they? No, they're not. Okay. Some other examples are stuff like hoverboards or Minecraft or slime. All those things were viral at some point. Everybody used them. Now nobody really uses them. So you see, the human being gets bored very easily. We invent something, we're really happy with it, we play with it, we get bored of it, and it becomes worthless, and then we invent something new, and the cycle just keeps repeating. Anything you might regard as important in this life will at some point be worthless to you. Now, when the ayah was described as worthless? The farm. It was such a big deal to the farmer, but when he got it, he didn't reap its benefits, and it became worthless to him. So let's move on. Now Fortnite is really popular nowadays. What do you guys think it's going to look like in a few years? Inshallah it won't be around, inshallah. No. Okay, next I'm going to be,
It also brings me to the point that once something comes out, someone is like, oh my god, I need to spend all my money, and then once their parents get it for them, they're like, oh, they're so excited. But then once it ends, they just realize that they wasted money on something that they never would have needed in the first place. So also to use your money wisely is also kind of another lesson that you're teaching. So yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about the first part of the ayah. And the first part of the ayah explains the stages of a human being's desires as they grow up. But first, I'm going to be showing you guys 2 videos. These 2 videos compare 2 different lifestyles. Okay, so you guys are going to watch the videos, and then in the end, I want you guys to compare the 2 videos. One video is about the lifestyle of the Prophet ﷺ, which was a more simple lifestyle, and the other video is about the lifestyle of Steve Jobs, a more lavish one. Enjoy.
So do I go to anyone who just says something? Who answers the question?
luxury, nothing to sit on, no fruits, no dessert, no nothing. When you have no خطاب عند التفرغ صلى الله عليه وسلم. He saw miracles, nothing to sit on, no fruits, no dessert, no nothing. He saw miracles, nothing to sit on, no fruits, no dessert, no nothing. He saw miracles, nothing to sit on, no fruits, no dessert, no nothing. He saw miracles, nothing to sit on, no fruits, no dessert, no nothing. He saw miracles, nothing to sit on, no fruits, no dessert, no nothing. He saw miracles, nothing to sit on, no fruits, no dessert, no nothing. He saw miracles, nothing to sit on, no fruits, no dessert, no nothing. He saw miracles, nothing to sit on, no fruits, no dessert, no nothing. He saw miracles, nothing to sit on, no fruits, no dessert, no nothing. He saw miracles, nothing to sit on, no fruits, no dessert, no nothing. He saw miracles, nothing to sit on, no fruits, no dessert, no nothing. He saw mirac He said, on the floor. I looked at him and said, Ya Rasulullah. He started crying. Umar ibn Khattab. He started crying. Said, Ya Rasulullah. What have you got? The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Ya Umar, what makes you cry? He said, oh, Prophet of Allah. The Roman king, the Persian king, their seats, their thrones are made of gold and silver and rubies. Their clothes are silk and gold. For you are the best of creatures chosen by the Almighty Lord. Look how they're living, and look how you're living. You know what the Prophet said? He said, Allah, look, smile. Doesn't it suffice us that for us is the hereafter, and for them is this world and only this world? It's the paradise. That we don't want it. We want eternal bliss and not temporary bliss. Because this is all it is in this life. A bit of enjoyment, that's all it is. And that enjoyment gets forgotten as soon as one dip in hellfire. One dip. Oh, the excitement and enjoyment in this life. One dip in paradise. Oh, the hardship, the burden that you have put on Muslim. You forget all about it.
The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam never wore silk. He never wore gold. He never dressed arrogantly. He never appeared in front of people like he was a king or an emperor, even when he was the absolute ruler. And it was common for people to look around and want to think he should be sitting up someplace in a chair on a throne like other leaders. He should be wearing some gown of gold. He should be wearing some kind of crown. He should be a man with people around him serving him. But when they came in and they looked around, it was a common question. Who is Muhammad? Where is he? No one could tell who was the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam among his followers, because his clothes and what he ate and where he chose to sit was never different from the other people. You tell me, name one leader in the world that can compare with that. Any one of us, if we just get a raise on our jobs and they give us a little office, we get a big chair. If we make some money, we want a big house, we want a big car. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to sleep on a mat. Like that mat on the floor. Only thing it was made from palm fiber, from dry grass. And that's how he slept. On a dirt floor with no furniture in his house.
So what?
Okay, that's the first video.
So we're stopping the video here and we're doing another one because the rest of the video doesn't really say anything important.
I reached the pinnacle of success in the business world. In others' eyes, my life was an epitome of success. However, aside from work, I had little joy. In the end, wealth is only a fact of life that I'm accustomed to. At this moment, lying on the sickbed and recalling my whole life, I realized that all the recognition and wealth I took so much pride in would pale and become meaningless in the face of meeting death. In darkness, I look at the green lights from the life support initiates. I hear the humming mechanical sounds. I can feel the breath of God and death drawing closer. Now I know, when we have accumulated sufficient wealth to last our lifetime, we should pursue other matters that are unrelated to wealth. Should be something that's more important. Perhaps relationships. Perhaps art. Perhaps a dream from younger days.
Keep in mind he's not Muslim.
Non-stop pursuing of wealth will only turn a person into a twisted being. Just like we. God gave us the senses to let us feel the love in everyone's heart, not the illusions brought in by wealth. The wealth that I have won in my life, I cannot bring with me. What I can bring is only the memories precipitated by love. That's the true riches which will follow you. Company, giving you strength and light to go on. Love can travel 1,000 miles. Life has no limit. Go where you want to go. Reach the height you want to reach. It's all in your heart and in your hands. What's the most expensive bed in the world? A sick bed. You can employ someone to drive the car for you, make money for you, but you can't have someone bear the sickness for you. Material things lost can be found, but there is one thing that can never be found when it's lost. Life. When a person goes into the operating room, he will realize that there is one book that he has yet to finish reading. The book of healthy life. Whichever stage in life you're at right now, with time, we will face the day when the curtain comes down. Treasure love for your family, love for your spouse, love for your friends. Treat yourself well. And cherish others.
Okay, so what could you guys conclude from these two videos?
That the first video about the Prophet ﷺ, it was that the Prophet, he did not have anything. He just had a mat on his floor. That's where he sat, that's where he slept, and that's where he was. And then Steve Jobs, he reached height and power, and then he had everything he wanted in life. And then at the end, he just said, "This is worthless." Okay.
Both people, they had similarities when they were reaching towards their end, such as Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He didn't have much luxury. He didn't want to wear any like nice clothes. He wanted to blend in with everyone else. Steve Jobs, during his life, he reached so much success, but when he reached his deathbed, he just forgot. He forgot that all of what mattered was, he just forgot it.
Good point, yeah.
I was going to say, I think the main difference is that the Prophet ﷺ realized early on in his life that this life is meaningless, versus Steve Jobs realized that at the very end. And so that's why he lives with a lot more regret, because he's like, oh, it's too late for me to change because I'm dying. Versus the Prophet, who knew from the beginning, he was like, you know, I'm going to live a simple life because in the end it's the akhirah that we strive for.
Okay, and I think like in the first video, it's talking about like Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Like he knew like life is like worth. I mean life. I mean dunya is worthless. Like anyways, we're gonna die. Like, and then the video, like he never talked about anything. Like he first talked about wealth, talked about everything. At the very end, he talked about life.
So
Last one, by the way.
So yeah, like they both. So they both like at one point in their lives realized that, oh, this life is meaningless, and like they both realized that, but Steve Jobs, he realized that like when he was on his deathbed. Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam realized that when he was when like a long time before he died, and so he had time to change, while Steve Jobs, he did not.
So one thing I noticed that's clear, I watched this video a couple of times, but for the Prophet ﷺ, life was the start, not the end. You notice this? Life is the start. For Steve Jobs, life was the end. Then the mentality here is different. The Prophet ﷺ was doing everything for the start point. After this. And you know the Prophet ﷺ have the choice. Any prophet has a choice. So the death of the angel of death came to the prophet and asked the prophet that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending me to get your soul. And what do you choose? And the prophet chose that he wants to start, die. If you are in this position and you are asked by the angel of death, do you want to continue your life or do you want to die? What's your choice here? You can see Steve Jobs thinking, I'm dying, I want to get the most out of this life. And what was he looking for? He was looking for money. He repeated this, love, love, love. You see, he said this multiple times. He's searching for it because he's still thinking life is the end. He wants to get most out of it. And he thought initially most out of it is money, but then he found no, it's not enough. What is missing? And he thought it is love. Because Steve Jobs almost has no family, right? So that's what he thought. But then if you thought the Prophet ﷺ at the last minute, he has a choice. He can stay. He can stay. He can say, no, I don't want to die. But he chose بَلَ الرَّفِيقُ الْأَعْلَى. بَلَ الرَّفِيقُ الْأَعْلَى. بَلَ الرَّفِيقُ الْأَعْلَى. 3 times. I want to meet Allah. Remember, for a believer, the start point is when you die. For a non-believer, it is the end point. Jazakallah khair.
Good job, Baba. Proud of you. Okay, so yeah, all of these were really great. You guys, I want to start hearing from the older people. It's only the younger people that are talking. Other than Sally. I got you. Okay, so now I'm going to explain the first part of the ayah. And basically what Allah does in the first part of the ayah is that He tells us the stages, or like the stages of desires that we have as we grow older. And He goes all the way from a baby, from when you're newborn, all the way until adulthood. All the way until when you're an adult, you're a parent, okay? So He starts with... No. is he starts with اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا. Know that this worldly life, okay? So Allah is telling us that we should realize and know that this worldly life, He's telling us to learn what this worldly life is so that we don't regret it when we're at the end of our lives, okay? And so it's a command from Him, okay? And He says, اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا لعب. The first thing He tells us is لعب. Now, if you think of it, when a human being is first born, there's needs and there's wants. There's two different things in your life, right? When a human being is first born, all they have is needs. They don't have any wants. A newborn baby, all they want is, they want milk, they want to change their diapers, and they want to sleep. That's all they want. They don't need anything else. Those are needs, those are not wants. Now, as that baby grows older, when they're like 6 months old or a year old, what do they want? A want starts to come into place. They want your attention. They want you to play peekaboo with them. They want to be tickled. They want you to carry them. That's the first want, la'ibun. They want you to play with them. So this is the first thing that Allah mentions in this ayah. But that's not where it stops. And then Allah says, لَعِبٌ وَلَهْوٌ. The second thing He mentions is lahwun. Now, lahwun is when you grow a little bit older, when you're around 9, 10, around that age, okay? Now, what do you do when you're around 9, 10? You are looking for lahu. Lahu is something that basically wastes your time or that you use to make time go by, but it has no benefit for you. Now, as a child gets older, Now, they still want to play though, right? But they want entertainment and play. And nowadays, entertainment and play both combine and they create the video game industry, okay? So you see children that are 9, 10, they're always playing Roblox or like Minecraft or Fortnite, anything like that. It's always the little children playing them. And they'll do anything for them. And then there's a third dimension, when they grow a little bit older, when they become teenagers, when puberty hits. La'ibun wa lahun. The third thing is zinatun, and beautification. Beauty becomes an obsession, and you know what that means? It means that you want to look beautiful, you want to live in a beautiful house, have a beautiful car, you want to feel beautiful, you want to be with people that are beautiful. You didn't care about that when you were younger, but now that you're 13 years old or 14 years old, beauty becomes an obsession. Why? Because you're obsessed with it. If you live in like a small house or something, or you're not happy with your house, you wouldn't want your friends to come to your house. When you were 9 or 10, you didn't care. You'd still invite them. You didn't care about what your house looked like, right? You're not innocent anymore. But then all of that passes too, because at some point you become a college student, and they don't care. All they care about is graduating. Why? Not because they're bored of school, well maybe because of that, but also because a new desire has come into place now. Here's the fourth one, showing off to each other. وَتَفَاخُرٌ بَيْنَكُمْ. You want to show the world you mean something. When people graduate, what do they get? A diploma. What do they do with it? They don't just throw it where no one can see it. They hang it up on their walls. That's what they do, right? When someone takes a picture with a famous person, what do they do? Hey, look, dude, I took a picture with Drake yesterday. Did you see? Look, right? You don't just hide it to yourself. You show the world around you what you do, right? Why? Because you want to show them that you mean something. You want to show them you're successful. So now this pride in wanting to show people that you mean something is added to the list. Now we have 4 things on the list. We have la'ibun, we have play, lahwun, entertainment, zinatun, beautification, wa tafakhurun baynakum, and showing off to each other. But then even that passes, and now you get married and you have kids, and all a parent can think about is their kids and how they're doing and what they need, right? Are the uniforms ready for school? Are there enough groceries for tomorrow? The bills, etc. Because now there's a new concern. وَتَكَاثُرٌ فِي الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَوْلَادِ. You want to have stability in your money and kids. You want to have financial stability. You want more of it. You talk to a kid about money, they'll be like, oh, I don't care about that. I'll never be like my parents. What are you talking about? I'm not going to buy a house. I'm not going to have kids. I'm not even going to get married. Talk to them 10 to 20 years later, it's not the same. You'll go through the same cycle, generations and generations before you have went through. And it's all the same. And then you die in the end, and that's it. So Allah summarizes the things we run after that we think will make us happy, but in the end we're going to regret it. So here's the summary of that summary. A child thinks that they'll be happy when they play, right? A little older when they are entertained. A little older when they feel beautiful, look beautiful, have beautiful things, live a beautiful life. A little older when they have something to show off. A little older when they have financial stability and lots of kids. You can't help it. Allah put these desires in you. So don't get too attached, because they're all going to turn yellow in the end. They're all going to become worthless to you at some point. Now the last part of the ayah, so I'm going to go back to the end of the ayah now. I explained the first in the middle, now I'm going to the end. And so in the last part of the ayah, Allah tells us the consequences after we're dead, what's going to happen, right? He says, وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ عَذَابٌ شَدِيدٌ. And in the end is intense punishment. And that is the one thing you will not get used to. You can get used to anything in this world. You're going to get used to it. You're going to move on. But the intense punishment, Jahannam, you will never get used to that. You're going to get used to the pleasures and the pains of dunya. But the pain in Jahannam, you're never going to get used to it. And then he says, وَمَغْفِرَةٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرِضْوَانٍ. Not only does he punish the bad, the people who didn't care, he also rewards the ones who cared, right? Forgiveness from Allah and satisfaction. Finally, you'll be satisfied in the hereafter. Finally, after all the work you've done here, you'll be satisfied, right? And you won't be looking for the next thing. وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. And this life is nothing but chasing your desires or pleasures. Everything in this world, you will come out of waiting for something else to happen. You won't be satisfied in this world. But finally in the hereafter, you will be satisfied and your heart will be at content and peace. So don't waste your time running after these worldly matters and chasing your desires. Save it for later when you're really going to need it. So now I'm going to talk about what we can change in our lives, what we want to do so that we can have the final satisfaction in the end, right? So I personally, I think I want to waste less time on social media or use my time more wisely. Yeah, something like that. I want to hear from you guys what you want to change about yourselves. What did you conclude from this halaqa, basically? Other than her.
Thank you.
Well, I learned from this halaqa, from the subject we were talking about. I learned that nothing you do in this life, like no matter how hard you try, it's what your desires, your bad desires, it's not going to benefit you at all. In life, there's very little life, but there's so much possible things that could happen in the after. So why waste your time on things that don't benefit you? What's the point of what you're doing? Where's that gonna get you? What's it gonna do to you? There are two things that's gonna be in the end, Jahannam and Jannah. It's easy. There's two paths. You either go to the good or the bad. You don't waste your time working on your desire. Yeah.
What else did you guys learn? Come on. What do you guys want to change?
Okay, yeah, I agree with Maryam. I want to spend less time on Instagram. And instead of having the same post as my followers, which is really sad, by the way. Okay, so I want to spend less time on Instagram and do something useful in my life.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, like, what I learned from the what I learned from the lesson was that, like, you can't, like, you're gonna, like, throughout your life, like, the only thing you're gonna be, like, care about is, like, your desires and your pleasures, and that's gonna always, like, take over your mind. But sometimes you're just gonna have to, like, fight it and, like, see what you're gonna get in the end, because, like, it's not always about, because, like, there's going to be a certain point where you can, like, have those things anymore. They're going to stop at some point, and like, it's only there for, like, a certain amount of time, but, like, Jahannam, they're, like, going to be there forever. Thank you.
Good job, Habiba.
You know, sometimes I feel like the younger ones are wiser. They're actually, like, the only ones that focus.
So what I learned from this halaqa was that people, they get bored of things very quickly. As soon as they find a new thing in a couple of weeks, months, like, they will get bored of it immediately. For example, like, some kids, as soon as in like a couple of weeks, couple months, they get bored of it, and then you have to get them a new toy. So it's basically the same cycle for humans. They get bored of things very quickly.
You guys, I want the only ones to speak up. Seriously, it's like zombies in this classroom. God.
Okay, guys, let's hear from, I'm just going to call people out, because you guys all heard the halaqa? Okay, let's hear him, and then we're just going to call 3 more people out.
So
Prepare something.
So a week. So there was a Jum'ah. Since some people they didn't have a school day because of conference weeks, and I went to the masjid to see a khutbah, and he kept on talking about a topic similar to this, of some kids, they would have thousands of toys just because they would become yellow. They would just keep on buying, and then it would happen over and over again. And then the sheikh that was giving the khutbah, he went to Syria and he saw the children. Turkey. Oh, okay. Well, they were Syrian children. Okay. He went to Turkey. While his children, it was late in the night, his children were sleeping in a hotel, and he was at a cafe, and there was a boy. He just sat down in his lap and stared with his eyes. And he gave him something. And then another girl, she just came on his shoulder and laid down and took something out of his wallet. And then he knew about this. And then and pretty soon it would be yellow, and then they'd go rinse and repeat. It was just something that you would thrive for, but it wouldn't really help.
Okay, that's enough. My time's up. My guy's gonna kill me. I just want to leave you guys with this. إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ. Your desires will always lead you the wrong way. Don't listen to them, because they will never lead you the right way, okay?
You have most